going for a Sunday brunch? Comment below. I miss y'all. Pulling up my notes, y'all. I'm coming. Warm up the chat, okay? We're going to talk about Bell Collective. We're going to talk about Huntsville. Oh, I'm so excited because I ain't talked to y'all at the Sunday brunch in a minute, okay? Warm up the chat. Hey, I'll be right there. Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back, okay? I'm in a different setup, which feels kind of weird. So, y'all comment, y'all let me know if, number one, y'all are seeing me okay. Number two, if y'all are hearing me okay. Let me know before we continue, okay? I just put my phone on do not disturb so we can have our time. But y'all comment and let me know. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? I'm pulling up my notes and I'm gonna wait for y'all to comment. Kenya says slight echo. Oh shit, what is going on? My laptop just decided to turn off. I got these technical difficulties because I'm trying to switch good on both. Can see and hear you. Thank you, Sugar Shan. Okay, so we're gonna wait for my laptop to turn on. I don't know why I just decided to do this. Okay. I don't know why it decided to do this, but yeah, let's talk real quick. Let me turn on my little intro because y'all know what I like to do. I have not done a Sunday brunch in a minute. Sundays have been hectic AF for me. Hectic AF. And I don't know why I really do be feeling bad when I don't get the chance to come on here and talk to y'all. Y'all, literally, it has only been like, it's been like 9 days. But with the amount of things that have been going on, y'all, it literally feels like it's been, ooh, child, it feels like it's been 2 weeks, okay? Or longer, shit, 2 months, okay? Number one, we friends here, okay? So if you're watching this on the replay and you don't want the life update and everything else, skip ahead. But for those of you that are on live, hey friend, okay, what's good? So over the past 2 weeks, I've been in the process of, first, me and my husband sold our house. We're moving, okay? Second, I was sick, which I told y'all. I had a sinus infection. And I haven't had a fever. Like, literally, I felt like I haven't had a fever since I was like a kid. And when I was sick, I had that fever. Not to mention some other personal stuff that's been going on, but right now, everything is good, y'all. I'm back. I'm ready to talk to y'all about these TV shows. I've actually had time to sit down and talk about them, take notes, think about them. And number one, I missed y'all, and I'm glad that y'all showed up for this brunch and y'all ain't forgot about me, because I was like, damn. Okay. Not to mention, y'all, you know what else happened over the 9 days that I was gone off from YouTube? Ooh Ladies First Panel had the chance to interview Candy Burris, y'all. We talked to Candy last week. It was on Bonnie Channel, and it was amazing. Like, literally, y'all, I was cheesing the entire time. And I was cheesing the entire time because, like, I love me some Candy, y'all. I know I be joking about Candy and the way she be singing and how she be crying like this, but that's because I love me some Candy, y'all. Oh my gosh. So that was exciting. So over the next like month or so, y'all may see like different, I don't know what my family situation is going to be like until we get settled, but y'all may like see some different backgrounds or whatever. But we rolling and we keeping it moving, okay? So first things first, make sure that you have liked and subscribed. Shout out to y'all who are watching this live. Now we can go ahead and get into the first show, which was Belle Collective. And I know some of y'all be here strictly for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Don't worry, this is the pregame, okay? So Belle Collective starts out, and we see Akeisha, Marie, and Tisha sitting down. Letitia. And the reason why I'm laughing, y'all, is because I didn't get to talk to y'all last week about the shit that went down between Tambra and Akeisha. So after I talk y'all through this scene, I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on like who was messy. Was Tambra just being messy, or was Akeisha lying? Like, what happened? Okay, so Akeisha is talking to both Marie and Letitia, and she's saying that it was disappointing of Tambra to go and tell them that she called them ugly. She says she doesn't feel that way, and she apologizes if they felt like she was acting some type of way towards them. So Tisha was like, yeah, Tambra told us to watch out for you. They said she's shady. And Akeisha is like, somebody that's shady to me is a liar and they low down. So no, I have to disagree with Tambra's definition of being shady, right? So Akeisha says, you know, it's whatever y'all want to do. We can move forward or we can just let it be. So they all decide to move forward. And Marie herself, she ends up saying, I kind of want to crack this door because I think that might help the echo. And give me a hot second. Okay, that probably helps. So Marie ends up saying that, you know, at this point, they can't figure out if Akeisha really called them ugly or if she didn't call them ugly, and she decides like it's nothing we can do about it, so let's just move on. My thoughts on the situation? Akeisha said that shit. Akeisha maybe didn't explicitly say the words ugly, but I do think Tambra was telling the truth whenever Tambra said, Akeisha said, is there any other pretty girls in Jackson? Because Akeisha and Tambra know each other from school, but they seem to have some sort of Gretchen Wiener, Regina George relationship going on. We should all just kill Caesar. And that's Tambra. I feel like the two of them hung out together in school. They was on some bad bitches link up type stuff. And yes, I'm referencing the early Instagram days in 2011, when all the girls who weren't really friends was hanging out, but they was on some hashtag bad bitches link up. That's what Akeisha and Tambra was on when they was in school in the 80s. So anyway, what I have to say about that is I don't think they were really ever friends like that. They probably hung out together. They probably desired to be well liked by men. And they thought that hanging out with another pretty girl would do it. So now the truth is all coming. I think that I think that what each of them say about the other one is absolutely true. I think it's absolutely true. I think they're both telling on each other. And now that they have grown from this point of, you know, you in school, the bad bitches hang out together and that's it, to now all of a sudden you're adults and you got to make business moves. You see that women like Marie and Letitia, who may not be your cup of tea aesthetically, can benefit you in some way. So y'all are both in the business of snitching and telling who said what in order to form alliances. So Marie, she ends up talking about her opening up this methadone clinic in house really close to her because her mom has gone missing again and her mom is back on them drugs. And I hate it for you, Marie, but I am glad that you opened up this clinic. So Tisha then talks about Damon and how she thinks that Tambra, thank you, Tambra sent over security at the fashion show. Tambra absolutely sent over security whenever she saw you talking to Damon. Now, my thoughts on the whole Tambra and Damon situation, we gonna get to, but I have split feelings, okay? I have split feelings, number one, because Tisha's being messy as fuck. I feel like, I know, hey Harold. I feel like Tisha, this season between you and Glenn should have been enough. That should have been enough drama. You didn't have to go recruit the damn decorator to bring more drama to Damon and Tambra, right? So my feelings are split about this because I feel like Tisha's full of shit. And if it was something that I was running, no, you wouldn't be, you know, stirring up the pot talking to my man during the show. But on the flip side of things, I'm kind of like, is that really your man? Is that really your man? Anybody who has been a girlfriend for 15 years at your big age, okay? It's different when y'all dated in high school, you know, y'all was together for 5 years in high school. Well, shit, that still adds to 10 years. I don't know, y'all. I just don't trust it. Any grown ass woman who has decided to skip her riper years when she could be establishing a family because that's what she wants to do. Maybe not all women do that, okay? But it sounds like Tambra has wanted to have some sort of family. So if Tambra has skipped her ripe years in order to be this man's girlfriend for 15 years on and off, I have to ask, is that really your man? Okay, so I have split feelings. So speaking of Tambra and Damon, we see them sitting down, and Tambra just says, you know, I'm not even about to spend time talking about the decorator at my event. Fair, fair. You right on time, Kenya. You right on time. I can't wait. Okay. So she said she wasn't going to talk about the decorator at her event. This episode shows us that she's not going to talk about the decorator at any event, okay? Because she's embarrassed and she got her clown mask on like she always do. So she's telling Damon, you know, you don't have to tell me anything. I believe you, baby. You don't have to tell me anything. I'm like, okay. You're going to believe him because even when you initially brought the story to him, it was very suggestive. It was like, I already know this isn't true, right? You don't have to tell me because I already know this. So, girl, you gonna believe what you want to believe. You are. So Damon brings up the topic of her moving in. And Tambra's response shook me more than the request for her to move in. This is all out of whack, okay? Tambra's response was, well, I don't have the ring. I don't have the ring, so I just need to make sure. Y'all tell me what, okay? Y'all tell me what. Number one, you took this man to a sperm birth fertility clinic. That's the word I'm looking for. You took this man to a fertility clinic to then tell the doctor that you have been using condoms for 15 years as his girlfriend and that y'all have never had sex unprotected in order to create a baby. So now you're on this baby kick. Now this man asks you to move in with him and you're saying, but I don't have a ring. based on the vibes you were giving, Tambra, the mom is like, what ring? Girl, what you talking about? A ring pop? What you talking about? Ring light? What are you talking about, Tambra? Like, it's comical to me, y'all. Girl, go ahead and move in that house and split bills with that man. Okay? All y'all been doing is wasting money for 15 years. And the mom needs somebody to split his fucking cable bill with. Quit playing in our faces, Tambra. Quit playing. So we move on from that scene to we see Marie, her son, and then we see her grandson's other grandmother, which is the son of one of her son's baby mamas who was shot and killed in a drive-by. I could probably reword that, but this sounds confusing. I think it's confusing, number one, because there's multiple grandmothers, and then number two, because the son has more than one baby mama, and number three, because you got the grandparents parenting. That's confusing. Instead of me just telling y'all she's sitting there, her son is sitting there speaking to his, I can't even say mother-in-law. Ain't this some shit, y'all? It's confusing. It's confusing. Oh gosh. Why did my thing do this? Okay. So y'all bear with me. I'm really trying to put this together. Bear with me. But anyway, we see Marie, and Marie is there with her son and the other grandma. And they're talking about how they need to work together to co-parent. One of the first things I noticed was the entire conversation was led by Marie herself and the mother of the young lady who passed away. Meanwhile, you got the father sitting there on the couch. And I was most definitely about to light his ass up if they sat there and showed us that entire scene without her son contributing to the conversation of raising the child who has then lost his mother, right? But one of the things I noticed was this. This is what I tell y'all about Marie all the time. I have mixed feelings with Marie. Initially, when I first met her in season 1, I questioned her ability to be genuine. I always felt like Marie enjoyed feeling needed and loved to flex the fact that people needed her, whether that be Cedric, whether that be Effie, whether that be her son, whether that be the son's baby mamas, whether it be her mama. I questioned that. I don't know if it comes from a bad place now, but I definitely think Marie struggles with wanting to be the person to fix everything. And now that we've met her mother and we know that her mother spent her whole life on drugs, I could see that. I could see Marie having to keep the whole household together as a kid and wanting to be successful and thinking that if you hit some point in life, then maybe your mom would acknowledge everything that you were doing and would be happy and stop doing drugs. And I still see that in Marie. And I see that in the relationship that she has with her son. So the first thing that Marie says to the other grandmother is, what can I do for you? While that's nice, and while that's a common response when people experience a loss, I want y'all to pay attention to that being the first thing that they show when Marie was having this conversation. And the fact that we always point out that Marie likes to be needed. Last thing I want to talk about in this conversation, I don't want to give too much on the son, even though we be giving a whole lot. The son actually decided to take all his classes online so he could be there for his son after experiencing the loss of his mother. However, I don't want to give him a whole cookie. I'm going to give him half a cookie because the time has come for him to go back to school. I just want to know why. People getting full degrees online. I know she said he played basketball initially. Is he still playing basketball? I just want to know why, Marie, you play the primary parent in your son's relationships. You play the go-between between the baby mamas. You play the primary parent when it comes to the kids. And baby Trisha, he couldn't do online classes from jump because when we first met him the first season, he was going to school to play basketball. So I'm wondering, like, is he still playing or what? I don't know, but it's kind of weird. Okay, so we move on to So Gucci's daughter's baby shower, which was a cute event. The stepsisters show up to show support. I wanted to give my thoughts on that since I didn't talk to y'all about that last week. Do I think that JJ's daughter said slick shit about the color of her skin as they were growing up? Absolutely. Absolutely, I think they did. Do I think that they don't want to acknowledge that today? Absolutely, they don't want to acknowledge it. Do I think that they were ignorant and they just didn't know any better when they were kids? Absolutely. Because one of the things about colorism is that's a learned trait. That's a learned trait. Nobody would notice anything. I don't think anybody would notice anything or even think to make comments about, oh, I don't want to share a bar of soap with you because you're dirty. You would never think anything like that unless you had adults around you that fueled those thoughts. So especially being that the parents are divorced or were never together, who knows? JJ's daughters will often come stay and live with them after leaving the household with their mother. Absolutely, I think that colorism is a learned trait. I just hate that the girls don't want to take accountability at this point, at your grown age, for the things that you said. Or you could even apologize and say the things you may have said because you don't remember what you said so long ago. But one thing you do know is that it's affecting her daughter today. And that's the reason why she's never had a close relationship with y'all. I believe her daughter 100%. Now, it's a baby shower. Sisters show up. Latrice comes. Her period is late. And they're giving her practice holding a baby. One of the things I want to talk to y'all about from this baby shower is they end up gifting her a car. I love that they did not go gift her some big ass luxurious car. I love that y'all went and got that girl a damn Ford Fiesta with the 4 doors. Something that, she got a cute little $300 note on, and that's that. Y'all didn't get her nothing with the no foreign car, no expensive oil changes. She can go right on up to Walmart to get an oil change on that synthetic. Okay, glad y'all did that. However, y'all answer me this. Is this your MILF car or is this your first car? Because the math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. You're 24. It's cool if you live at home. It's fine. Okay. But my question is, if you don't have no transportation, how's you pregnant? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just thinking to myself, like, grown adults, which she is, and she's a young adult, so which is fine for her to live at home. But if you don't have a method of transportation, then I don't think that you should be running the risk of getting pregnant. That's just my thought. I don't care that the girl lives at home. I think that's great. I wish I would have stayed home longer to save money. I don't think it's a bad thing that her parents are gifting her with this car. I think that's a beautiful thing that they bought it for her. But my question is, the shit is out of order. The shit is out of order. Ain't no way. If you grown enough to get pregnant, you need to be grown enough to be putting gas in your car. I was like, what? I was confused. Baby Trisha says, I think she had a car. She mentioned a small car. I don't think she did mention a small car. She did say, I'm glad my parents got me a car. This is my MILF car. But then they kept saying a car. They never said a new car. So I was like, is this your first car or is this just an upgrade? I don't know. Questions that need answers. Stephanie Ray says, no, Necey, I was the same way. I wasn't having a baby without having transportation. I wasn't dragging my baby in a stroller on the bus. Right. I'm like, I don't know. Okay. I was just thrown off by the whole thing. And y'all let me know. Hopefully I wasn't the only one thinking that, but I'm just like, I don't know. So next, y'all, Latrice and Cliff, they have this conversation about a baby. And y'all, I cannot wait. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like 95% back, but I'm sorry. My allergies from that sinus infection last week. So Latrice and Cliff are having a conversation about Latrice's period being late. They start getting into this disagreement about a baby. Latrice says that they came from different backgrounds and that he wouldn't be able to understand why she's hesitant to have a baby because he has a supportive family. Latrice says that she wants certain things in place before she has a baby, but in the same breath, she's saying no amount of money is enough money. Cliff says if you're waiting for everything to be in place, you're going to be waiting forever. There would be no humans walking around, and I'm a man and I act off instinct. What he said was ignorant as fuck. I feel two ways. Number one, Latrice, you need some therapy. I think that Latrice definitely has some scars from her childhood, which are valid. One of the things that stuck out to me was Cliff said to her, I'll be a better father than I am a husband. Y'all, I don't know why that stuck out to me so much this time, as if it wasn't something that I've heard said for a long time. I hear people say that all the time. Like, oh, he wasn't the best father, but he wasn't the best husband, but at least he did this for his kids. And the reason why it didn't hit me until like today that I started realizing, like, as I get older and do more, like hit more milestones in my life, I start feeling differently about things. When I was younger, I was like, well, that's good. At least he take care of his kids, because I was seeing everything from a kid's lens of view. Now that I am older and I am a wife and one day we'll have kids, I'm thinking about the wife getting the shit end of the stick. There was a whole conversation, and y'all tell me what y'all think. A girl who I'm friends with on Instagram, she posted, I'm paraphrasing what she said, but she got lit up for this. She said that in a family, you need to prioritize your partner's needs, and then the kids' needs will follow. People were mad as fuck, and they lit her up. But I started understanding what she meant by that, because I feel like it takes two. And if you all are operating as individual parents first, the kids aren't going to get what they need 100%. And when Cliff said, I might not be the best husband, but I can be the best father, to me, I was like, that's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. And Latrice said, well, that's the same thing my daddy said to my mama. And he said, yeah, but you ain't your mama. And it was dismissing the entire conversation I just had with y'all. She's seeing it differently now that she has gone from being a child in that situation to then being a wife. And if she was to have a baby by them, she would run the risk of losing her security, which is Cliff. Cliff has money. Cliff has a stable foundation. Cliff is her security. Cliff, that's why she called this man Zaddy. Okay? Daddy. Daddy went home. Okay? This is your daddy. And if you end up having a baby by him or with him, that will end up risking your security that you have in him. So for one, I think you need to go to therapy. For two, Cliff, you sound ignorant AF, okay? And I don't think that Cliff is making it any better for Latrice, because to be all the way real, Latrice ain't gonna say this to her husband, but it's definitely a thought that has crossed her mind, I'm sure. Cliff is sitting there asking you to have a baby for him. How many kids does Cliff have now? Cliff has kids that are Latrice's age. He has kids that are Latrice's age. So this ain't his first rodeo. So I think it's absolutely fair, Latrice, for you to have those feelings. and for you to not want to have a kid. So that whole situation is a mess. He ended up telling her, raise the child with me or I'm gonna give you up for adoption. My last point when it comes to Cliff and Latrice, get on some damn birth control. Get on some damn birth control. If you don't want to have kids that bad, and if you know that kids run a risk to your livelihood and your security, you shouldn't be having unprotected sex. And that's not to say that people don't get pregnant on birth control, but to me, I'm like, girl, 99.9% success rate. Okay, whatever way you look at it. So lastly, y'all, we see the methadone clinic warming for Marie and Effie, I think that's her name. And they're asking Tambra, like, girl, what was going on at the fashion show? Because security just came and whisked you away. And she was like, girl, the station's going to take care of us. The station, that was the station. You know, he was just making sure I was doing okay. And they're all like, that don't sound right to me, but okay. The ladies all sit down. Marie gives this great speech and she thanks her partner in business, Effie, and she said, I want to thank you. Latrice makes a joke and she like, it sounds like soulmates to me. Akeisha then steals the floor and she ends up saying, you know, I want to invite y'all to something that I'm throwing just to show the city of Jackson that I'm back, and I want to reveal some of the projects that, you know, show everybody my vision for Fair Street. Letitia is taken aback by this because Letitia was the one who gave her a seat at the table. Okay, Letitia gave her a seat at the table, and now you're telling everybody that you have plans for Fair Street. Y'all know I have mixed feelings about Akeisha. I like her on one hand, and on the other side I don't. But whenever Akeisha plans to throw this party and she doesn't involve Letitia in anything, I feel no ways, because Akeisha has the coin, okay, and the connects, based on what she told us, to make moves on Fair Street. Okay, Letitia, we saw you last season get 12, 15, 20 women together and no moves were made. So I don't feel any type of way about Akeisha getting the ball rolling. And if this is her party, getting stuff rolling for Fair Street, the table is hers now. The table is hers now. So you can have a seat or not. So we'll see what happens next week. So Gucci makes a joke and she's like, is the plates gonna be clean? And then lastly, Marie stands up and Marie says, I would like to introduce everybody to one of my long-term business connections, my network, Taisha. Taisha arrives. Taisha's the decorator. We find out that Taisha planned Latrice's wedding. She decorated the methadone clinic. So two things are true, y'all. Do I think Damon had an emotional connection with this woman? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do I think that this woman wanted to be on a TV show and her decorating credentials weren't enough to get her on the show? Yes, I think that's what it is. So I think it's both. Tambra's whole face is cracked. She runs over to a producer and she's like, get this shit off me right now. Trying to take the microphone off of her. And then she ends up leaving. And as she leaves, she screams to Taisha. Taisha's like, oh, you don't want to talk to me? She's like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not giving you no attention. You're thirsty. You're this, you're that. And she ends up leaving. Tambra, you don't want to talk woman to woman? You don't want to talk woman to woman about what your man been doing? Girl, I guess. Y'all, Bell Collective has been giving. And I heard that this reunion is going to be giving even more. Okay, so y'all, that's what we got for Bell Collective. Y'all do me a favor and like the video, and y'all know what we gonna move into next, right? We gonna move into Love and Marriage Huntsville next. Okay, so do me a favor and like the video so we can get going. right, y'all. I hope y'all had a chance to like the video before we move into the final show of our brunch, okay? At this point, y'all, we sat down. We ordered, we started out with one mimosa. The waiter has come back to us. They heard us kikiing over Bell Collector. They like, at this point, do you want a carafe? And I'm looking at y'all like, do we want a carafe at this point? Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and get the carafe. It's $5 a glass. The carafe is about 30. It's 137 of us in the room. So make sure y'all hit the like button so y'all can split this carafe with me. Okay. I'm making sure to tell the waiter I want about this much orange juice and this much champagne in our drinks. Okay. And now we started out with the drinks because, for brunch, I like to drink my mimosa on an empty stomach just to get started. And then after that is whenever they bring the food. So at this point, they bringing out your chicken and waffles. They bringing out my all-American breakfast. They bringing out the bacon, the eggs, the hash browns, okay? The grits with the sugar, okay? Or the cheese if that's what you like. Okay, they bringing out the food. Okay, so we about to get into the last part of this brunch. Okay, we've had our mimosa, the carafe, and now we got our main meals. All right. Okay, like the button because at the end of this brunch, I ain't gonna be looking around the room waiting for y'all to hit the like button. Like, I'm waiting for my cash app. Just Zell me. I ain't trying to split no check with y'all at the end of the night. So make sure y'all at the end of the morning, okay? Make sure y'all are hitting the like button, okay? All right, thanks. Let's get into it. No, Sharice, you need a mimosa. Come on, this much orange juice. We here. We see each other, y'all. Okay, carafe me, please. Can I get another round? Okay, we got one more round, and that is Love Marriage Huntsville. I have missed brunch with y'all. Okay, cool. So y'all, at this point in time, we see everybody. Oh, okay, Jasmine. She said she on a hookah. She on the hookah, yes. You on the hookah, okay? And I got the watermelon mint on repeat. We having them put the hot coals in the hookah. And they gonna play the Tamia Hustle in a minute. And once we finish this review, we gonna get up and we gonna close the door, back floor. Okay. Y'all, in my mind, I'm really like, okay, we're getting too lit at this brunch. We are. I just want, I can't get enough of you. It's so all right, okay. Time to focus. Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. Last week was the first episode. It was pretty dry. I'm not gonna lie. Which was another reason why I didn't feel bad for not coming on last week. But the main thing from last week is that they are on this group retreat in Texas, held by Dr. Francis. We got the Whitlows there, and we got both of the Scott brothers, sister-in-laws. And they're at the group dinner, and we're seeing this conversation between Tiffany Lewis and Dr. Francis. Dr. Francis tells them at this point that y'all playing games. He's like, you remember I wrote that word on the board? It said game. He said the reason why is because y'all play games and then I call it a game and then it's a game that is not really a game. And I loved when he said that because I'm like, he's exactly right. Y'all are fake. AF. Fake. AF. And as much as I typically can't stand Marcel, I was getting my entire life just cackling at Lewis. Dr. Francis was so right when he said that Lewis always tries to like Pinterest quote his way through life. He tries to philosophize. I think that's what the word is. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm off the mimosas. He tries to turn like everything into like, oh well, life happens. Oh well, that's just how it goes. Oh well, You fall down, you stand back up. And it's just like, you can't do that with everything. At what point are you going to be real with yourself? And if you have the ability to play games in other people's faces, imagine what type of mental games you're playing in your own mind. This is why I don't trust people who play games like that. Because it reminds me of like, at some point you start to believe your own lies. People who have the ability to start becoming delusional in their own heads, that's alarming to me. That scares me. And I feel like that's what Lewis and Tiffany both do without calling a thing a thing. They say he speaks in Instagram caption. He does. He does. He does. Okay. He fall down, get back up. Okay. I can't. I can't. He does. And it's just like, when are you going to be real? So Dr. Francis says, he's questioning the quality of their interpersonal relationships. And they're like, I don't like him judging me. He's only known us for 24 hours. He can't really judge us. In the confessional, Tiffany tries to say she don't even know where Dr. Francis went to school at. Tiffany, we don't know a lot about you. We don't know a whole lot about you. You took us to the town where your biological father was from last season, and we ain't never found nothing else out. Girl, what's tea? I was invested. Y'all know I love me a good true crime investigative story. What's tea? You say you're 36. We don't know what year you graduated. Okay? I don't think that I would question Dr. Francis' credentials because he gets all of y'all together every single season. So I'm like, okay. So now, y'all, it's the next day. Yes. Ooh, Lacey says we don't know what happened with the chamber either. Chamber of Commerce. We don't know. Was she fired or was she let go? The world will never know, transparently. So now, y'all, it's the next day and we get to breakfast. Tiffany and Lewis are talking to Marceau, and Lewis is saying you have to be mentally strong whenever you come to these things, because if you don't know the state of your marriage, Dr. Francis will cause you to question everything. Lewis, this is what you were looking for. Lewis is using the same logic that Marceau was using every season since we met him. It's been so hard to critique Marceau, even mainly for a professional. Let's just talk from that point of view, because I talk a lot of shit on YouTube. I don't give a fuck if y'all use my advice or commentary. But when it comes to Dr. Francis, a professional, it's hard for Marceau to even take advice. So Lewis felt inclined to have that conversation with Marceau because he thought, you would understand where I'm coming from, right? And Lewis then says, I just want to bring up the reunion and I want to apologize to y'all. I want to apologize on the behalf of both of us because we see how it feels. Oh, you see how it feels, Lewis. You see how it feels, Lewis. Ooh, Harold said, imagine Dr. Francis being your dad. You'll never be able to pull a fast one over on him because he can detect BS immediately. Y'all, that's who I would like to have on Ooh Ladies First panel. I would love to have Dr. Francis. I would love to. So anyway, he apologizes to them and Letitia accepts the apology immediately. And I just think it's funny that y'all wait until y'all get put in the hot seat to want to extend apologies that way. Y'all are fake. Y'all are full of it. I don't think Marceau ever accepted the apology. I think it was more so Letitia that accepted the apology. Because y'all, not only did they try to tell them about their marriage at the reunion, but when they was on the trip to Vegas last season, Lewis was pillow talking with his wife about some little bitty shit and went and told his wife, and then his wife went and told Letitia. That ended up starting mess between Marceau and Tisha. So the way I think that Marceau feels about Lewis is like, I'm good on you. We can chill for the sake of the show and our wives, but I'm good on you. So Yeah, Letitia accepts it. Marceau doesn't say anything about it. And they sit down. The first thing Marceau says, so, how does it feel to be professionally diagnosed as fake? Which I thought was funny AF. Because they were essentially diagnosed as fake. It was funny. Kimmy and Maurice joined breakfast after the fact, and Kimmy wants to continue to put her foot down and tell them y'all are hypocrites because of this, this, and that. She says y'all like to give advice, but y'all don't like to hear it. She even brings up what they did to Marceau, and I'm like, well, damn, Kimmy, you about 10 minutes late, but I don't mind you drilling in on them and holding them accountable for even longer. I don't, because that little apology that he did reminded me of whenever they were talking about Monster when they were first introduced to us. Louis and Tiffany think that they can dish it out, and as soon as they make a respectable or honorable apology by taking accountability, they think that that just washes everything away. So I'm glad that Kimmy said something about it. Now, that I think is pretty much the gist of what happened at the couples retreat. Actually, this is what I'm gonna do, y'all. Let's finish up the couples retreat conversation, and then what I want to do is end on the conversation with Mel and Miss Marlene. So after the breakfast, you know, everybody is noticing that Louis is everybody's saying noticing that Louis is full of shit. Okay, so that's one thing we can agree on. And then we get into this couples exercise ran by Dr. Francis. And he brings the couples in the hot chair. So whenever they bring the couples in the hot chair, he's like, you got to be 100% honest. And he talks to Tiffany. Dr. Francis is talking to Tiffany. He's like, yeah, you've experienced 3 losses. Ooh, let me back up a little bit, y'all. One of the things that Kimmy mentioned at the breakfast that was really good for us to speak on was Tiffany's switch up. All last season, Tiffany was telling us that she wanted to have a baby and Louis did not. When Tiffany got in front of Dr. Francis, she said she wanted to have a baby and Louis said he didn't know how he felt about it. If that ain't full of shit, more than anything could be full of shit. If that ain't cow shit, horse shit, don't care. Clydesdale horse shit, big shit, okay? What? You get in front of these people and for the sake of saving face for your wife, you say that you think you're open to having kids, even though we know good and well that wasn't the case last season. I mean, you was just busting TVs on the boys' trip because you wasn't getting enough boots, okay? Tiffany was going to work and coming home. So you tell me how that works. The math's not nothing. You gotta have sex to make a baby, right? What are you talking about? Okay. So now we can move on to this couples exercise. Dr. Francis then starts talking about people experiencing loss. Tiffany and Louis are in the hot seat, and he's like, I'm sure all of y'all have experienced a loss. Louis, have you? And Louis says, well, you know, it's never easy taking a loss. You just got to keep moving. In his Instagram caption, in his Pinterest quote voice. Well, no, shit. No, duh, Louis. We all know it's not easy taking a loss. But I am so glad that Dr. Francis ended up saying, well, that's fine, but what did you do? Louis always tries to deflect and make something non-personal. He tries to disassociate from sensitive topics, and that's okay. A lot of people do that. But after a while, it's like you do realize that this man is clinically trained to pinpoint that. And you're going to try to gaslight a professional into thinking that you're not playing games. Yes, Monique, Dr. Francis was fed up. Like, what are you talking about? So at the drop of a pen, as soon as Dr. Francis is like, okay, but what about you? Louis starts crying immediately. Louis starts crying. And I'm like, okay. So you do have feelings. And Dr. Francis is like, this is the first time I've seen you act humane. And I busted out laughing because that was low-key shade. This is the first time that I've seen humanity within you. That's true, because he likes to act like a fucking robot. So after that, y'all, we see Tisha and Marcel talk to Dr. Francis. And I don't want to spend too much time on that because it's really just the struggle of Tisha being submissive versus Marcel saying that he respects his wife because he wouldn't have married her if she didn't have any value and all this other stuff. You're going to do what you want to do, Tisha. Don't want to talk about it. We can talk about Tisha and Lewis this episode. Lastly, we see Kimmy and Maurice. And Kimmy and Maurice are having a conversation with Dr. Francis about the amount of sex they're having. Maurice wanted to do it twice a day while they was on a retreat. This is like the second time that we've seen Maurice have this conversation about sex. Kimmy then mentions how it's hard for her to have sex when she is the only one doing household duties around the house because he believes that there are things that women are supposed to do. He want her to be damn Betty Crocker, Susie Homemaker in the house. And that's when I realized, like, wow, Kimmy and Marceau do a good job of not really talking about their household dynamic in a way that Marceau and Tisha does. Because if you really listen to what Kimmy was saying, it sounds like their dynamic is the exact same as Marceau and Tisha. But we would never see that because for the sake of how they move in public, Maurice is a little bit more careful and he wouldn't move in public the way that his brother does. So it makes Kimmy look a lot more independent, a lot more dominant than what the reality of the relationship is. So Dr. Francis then ends up saying that you need to value your wife as a human first, rather than somebody who is someone who is just one of your sex partners. And I'm glad that he said it. I really am glad that he said that. But I do think that that's something that needs some exploring, because it wasn't until last season when Kimmy started acting funny towards Martell in order to protect her husband's activities, or lack of, I don't know, that I started looking at her the same way I look at Tisha. Like, I look at them the exact same. So y'all, finally, let's get into Mel and Miss Marlene. I'm so excited to talk to y'all about Mel and Miss Marlene. Reason being is because, y'all, every time I watch this show, every time I talk to y'all about this show, we get into the dynamics of mother and son, okay? And I saw something about this online. Y'all, I saw a term, and a lot of y'all are going to be triggered just by the term. But I don't want you to be triggered by where your mind goes when I use this term. And I want you to take a step back and think. So me and the girls was having a conversation. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I ended up speaking about the girls on Facebook and Twitter. And whenever it's mainly Facebook, whenever they have a child, it's usually a single mother and she has a young boy. And when they say things like, God knew I needed you, or finally, someone who will love me forever, they make those comments where it's like, okay, well, even if I had a trash ass baby daddy, I now have a man who will grow to love me unconditionally. That type of responsibility on a child is weird as fuck. And the term that was associated with that, and that's how mama's boys are created. That's how women like Miss Marlene are created, who cannot hold their sons accountable because what you've accepted as a wife or a baby mama is much less than what your daughter-in-law will accept, and you have a problem with that. The word that they used was emotional incest. And I know some people are going to be like, what the fuck? That's weird. Like, I don't like that. That's exactly what it is. Whenever you begin to bear, or whenever you begin to put emotional responsibility on your child, so much in a way that you end up creating a man that cannot fully give to a woman in a marriage because he's still giving to his mother. And what I see a lot in Miss Marlene is that. We don't know what their relationship was like as a kid, but Miss Marlene is jealous, or was jealous, of Mel when they were married. She was jealous of Mel when they were married, and Mel broke this down. So they sat down at dinner, breakfast, or whatever, and Mel says, hey, they hug. She says that she wants to move forward in a positive space. We find out that they haven't talked for a whole year because of the text message that Mel sent her. The text message that Mel sent Miss Marlene says that she hasn't held her son accountable for anything that he's done. The text message also says something along the lines of, don't text me back because you're blocked. And she's protecting her peace. I am not mad at what Mel said at all. I'm not mad at all. So Mel says her issue is that Miss Marlene said something about, oh, Mel gonna kill my boy. Mel gonna kill my boy. And they played a flashback of Miss Marlene saying that Mel was lazy and Mel was always calling Martell, and Martell was at her beck and call, right? Mel then says, well, we've always worked. I've never been lazy. I just didn't do nothing. And Miss Marlene doubles down and is like, Martell didn't tell me that. I said that because he was lazy, because he did whatever you wanted him to do. Whatever, Martell, and Martell always did. And I told that boy he was doing too much. I told that boy Mel need to do her own thing. I guess if I would have had all them kids, I would have been lazy too. You're jealous. When Mel was married to her husband, Mel had 4 kids because her and her husband had unprotected sex, and they wanted 4 kids. Mel and Martell was successful. A lot of the businesses she came up with the ideas for. But you are jealous because when you were in your young heyday, you accepted much less from a man. In order to create Martell and in order to continue to go on about your life. You were okay with less than satisfactory. So the fact that Mel is not okay with the things that Martell is doing is triggering to you because you wish that you would have been in that position. You wish that you would have. And only somebody who is jealous would see those 4 kids as being lazy. Do y'all hear the undertone in, if I had all them kids, I would have been lazy too? What do you mean, if I had all them kids, I would have been lazy? That's like, that gives the tone that you feel like she had all those kids in order to not do anything. And that's what I'm talking about whenever I call it emotional incest. You're jealous. You've accepted way less, and that's why you fail to hold Martell accountable, because as a young woman, you would have stayed with Martell. You would have. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Mel blocking you. I think Mel clocked all your bullshit. I think that you didn't really apologize at all, because you are standing by what you said, which was Mel was lazy. But really, who's lazy now? Martell opened up the wine company only to have the same description as the Sutter Home Wine Company that he just opened. Martell is taking pictures for a damn calendar. I don't know nobody that buy paper calendars to put on the damn wall. Martell is pulling businesses out of his bare ass in order to chase a check, while Mel was able to continue to be successful based on the foundation that she laid throughout their marriage. So I really ain't got much else to give Miss Marlene, but that's what I'm talking about. And we see it in a lot of these shows. I just talked to y'all about this in another show, and we're going to continue to see it. I'm going to call it out every single time. Do better. Mothers, do better. I don't know what it is. A lot of mothers raise their daughters to be independent, and it's a trauma-based response because you accepted less from a man and he left your ass high and dry. So you teach a woman to be independent, to go without, to cook, to clean, and do everything to survive without a man. But when it comes to a man, all he has to do is purely exist. Do better. Okay? And it's even worse whenever you see that with parents or single mothers who have both a daughter and a son, because then you see the opposite dynamics in the same household. Please raise your children to be decent humans. I really hate that a lot of people's focus is raising their son on being a man and what you think is acceptable. Because what you think is acceptable has everything to do with what you've accepted or not. And then whenever it comes to raising women, it's never, oh, I want to raise her to be a phenomenal woman. It's always, I want to raise her to be a great wife and a great mom. That shit is triggering. It really is. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen it in the men that you dated or even men that you choose to be friends with. I can't do it. DC Native says, you are so right. Women are raised to be strong and men are raised to just be the bare minimum. And of course, they are king. Exactly. Well, at least I did this, or at least I did that. There's no at least. This is what you should be doing. And this is what we saw with Monique and Chris. Monique was challenging her husband because she needed more. She needed a good partner, period. She's not using words like husband. She's not. And then that whole conversation just made me think, like, this is why Cliff from Bell Collective thinks that it's okay to say, I'm a man, I work off instinct. Okay. So you can just have babies. You don't have to plan anything because you know everything's going to fall into place. Well, why do you know that? That's because you have been supported by women to raise your children. The women who you were no longer with because you went and married somebody 20 years younger. Y'all, this shit is a trip. But I always feel like we can have deeper conversations from the stuff that happens on these shows. So y'all, that's all I got for Sunday brunch, okay? The check done came. So y'all do y'all's due diligence, okay? Don't dash on the bill. Make sure y'all hit the like button, okay? And if y'all loved our conversation, we're going to have another one tomorrow. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta as well as Married to Medicine. Okay? And depending on how I'm feeling, I don't know how I feel about Married at First Sight this season, but I might come and talk to y'all about Married at First Sight. I'll just have to see, okay? But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the brunch. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.